Okay, it's another day, lovely people, and I have toys. A lot of stuff has come in, and it's time for me to get this black chimney pipe, the double wall, up and over so that we can find the exact spot where we're going to be cutting a hole in the side of the tiny house. This DVL 6-inch, it's an adapter. It's a 6 DVL ADWD right down here. Now the ADWD, the WD part of that stands for with damper. So this is it, and this is designed to insert in most 6-inch wood stove pipes, whatever that item's called right there. That, as you probably already know, this just pops on and off of here. And so you got your screw holes already built in to that. And notice how this will work. You just flip that up. That's going to close it off and open it. And there you go. All that smoke and air can go out. And the creosote that builds up, if you use this damper often or at all, and you close it off like this, everything below this area there, of course it can bleed through here. It's going to come through some. It can't completely choke it out, but everything below that is going to have, right down here and below, which is nice having it so close in, it's going to build up a ton more creosote than it would if you did not have a damper at all. It would be able to flow out, but when you're restricting the flow, you got more chances for a buildup. And so if you do use this, it's vital to be extremely careful to stay on top of the cleaning of your chimney and your flue. But I determined that because of this particular stove, only having this little guy right here, which seems not really, I don't know that it's going to be doing that much. It looks to me like that's actually not only gives it the ability to be an intake for air, but when you open it and close it, up in there you can't see it. But it looks like that's where it's going to dump ash into this tray. So I'm not sure if it's designed more for that or if it's designed for intake. I think it's actually designed for both. I believe it fits both purposes. So that's going to help bring air in, and as you saw in the back, I have an intake here, and I probably will come out with some hose and go out right there, some sort of real sturdy, strong dryer vent hose to bring air from the outside, so we're not sucking, because this thing has to suck air in constantly to eat it up. You know, fire runs on oxygen, and so it's going to be sucking oxygen from somewhere, and if you don't have a intake coming from outside, it's going to take all this oxygen that's in this house, and it's going to be sucking air from the outside in. So you're going to be bringing in cool air in the wintertime so that this thing can feed into the actual building itself, and then it's going to find its way to the wood fire or the wood stove. But if you've got it coming in through a vent, like we just talked about, it's going to go straight from outside straight into here, and I think it's going to burn a lot cleaner and more efficient. So anyway, that is this part. Okay, next we have, what I ordered next anyway, was the DVL E90. And that's the elbow. That's the 90-degree elbow that's going to turn and take it out the wall. But before we go there, I determined how high I wanted to take this before it goes out the wall, because with this double wall pipe, you can get a 6-inch clearance if you are running vertical to a wall. If you're running horizontal to a wall, it's an 8-inch clearance. And so I was able to I'm planning on taking this up much higher than I thought I was going to be able to, so that I can go out the wall higher. I don't want to go out down here. I didn't think I'd have enough room. But anyway, we're going to begin by using a combination of this 6 DVL 18. It's an 18-inch tall double wall DVL pipe. And we're going to add on to that the 6 DVL 6 or 06, which is 6 more inches. That's going to go on top of the 18, giving us a cool 24 inches up, and then this is going to go over it. So once we do that, we're then going to take it over to the wall, and I measured, this is going to be the challenging part. These pipes right here, they only come in certain lengths. And you can look them up and see all the different lengths they come in. Now there are an expandable one that comes down to say 29 inches and might go up to 40 some odd inches. And you can slide it within itself to either retract it or expand it. But I didn't have that far of a run to even be able to use one of those expandable ones. So I had to do my best to just get a combination of a couple pipes here that's going to meet my needs. And it's going to be challenging. We will see how close I get. So I've got another 18-incher for that. And then this is what came with the through-the-wall kit. This is a DuraBlack adapter. And on their website, it does say that this can be used in addition to converting from the DuraBlack to the DuraPlus. It can also be used to go from DVL to DuraPlus. You can buy a double wall adapter. It looks like it's a DVL adapter that looks similar to this, but it's double wall. And I wish I had just already bought it so that I could, you know, kind of determine which one to go with. I really think I would feel more comfortable to go with it because that's where it's actually entering into the thimble on the wall. That's where, in my opinion, it's going to need the most resistance against, you know, being near combustibles. And so we're going to look further into that. We're going to come back to this. But right now, what I want to do is fit this pipe up there and see where she lands. Let's do that. So we're going to start by grabbing, I think, would we want the joint to be down low or up high? I think we want the joint up high. And so that way they're out of the line of sight the most. I'm not actually going to be screwing this together right now. There's a seam on the back of all of these, and it is the back. So there's a seam on this damper that I showed you a moment ago, and there's a seam here. These I don't believe are meant to, you know, go directly on top of each other. I believe what we need to do is kind of offset them from one another. And there are holes. In fact, you see this hole here, and then you have this hole here. I'll turn it back in a moment, but yeah, see how this is offset right here from the other one and how that lines up with the hole. And then of course we're going to turn this back to the very back. But that's what you want. You want to offset those just, I guess, side to side from one another. Okay, now we're going to go up here with this 6-inch extension, and we're going to take it and offset it the other way. And the reason I'm doing that is because I can see over here on my side of this that the hole would line up if I did it that way. I'm trying to get it to fit. It seems like it's a little bit off. And oh, by the way, if you watch a lot of videos about DuraVent, you'll see a lot of people talk about how sometimes they'll receive these, you know, when they are shipped in and they're damaged. Well, knock on wood and praise the Lord, mine have all been in really, really great shape. I've not had any damage. Okay, there it is. It's down, that hole's lining up. When we actually screw it in, we'll tap it down with some wood and check it out from there. Okay, back out in front of the wood stove. It's a little dark in here, so it's kind of cloudy. You might see that outside. But let's go across with our 90 and see where it lands. See how we did. So the seam on this, interesting, is actually lining up over here. I don't think it's going to be that far off, but we want to come straight to the wall. So wherever the seam is, we're going to try to make it work regardless of that seam. That seam is over here, and there's one of the seam is in the back over here. It seems to be lining up pretty close. Of course, I'm going to keep this perfect, and I want to twist this a little bit here because I want it going that direction. And it looks like we're good. Now again, I'll probably screw these together. All these holes are lining up here, and of course there's no holes here. I'll have to do some drilling and put my screws in right there. Now we need to get over here to the wall and land where we can connect to the thimble with that adapter. Okay, so here's the wall thimble that's going to be coming through the hole that we're going to eventually put here. I went ahead and put a wall board up just so that we could represent the thickness and how far this wall is going to come out. This is what we were talking about earlier. That's for the Dura Black and potentially the DVL, to convert from DVL to Dura Plus. As you know, this is Dura Plus. So this one is designed to slide in that way because these are the same size. So I went ahead and took the end of this adapter that goes into this DVL and I'm popping it in here. You can see how it fits perfectly. And down here, as you remember, it went over and around this. So that's what we're looking at. So this does go in a little bit. You've got about 1 inch of pipe there that's not double wall. And that's going to be just on the outside of where this meets the wall, actually. So now we're gonna take this, leaving this on, and we're gonna go up to the wall and see what we get. Okay, so something to remember is when you are taking a horizontal pipe to the wall, you need at least a 1/4 inch rise per horizontal foot that you're going into the wall. So we're going in 18 inches, so we'll call it 2 feet. So we're going to need a 1/2 inch rise so that that smoke is going up and continues to go up. It doesn't like going horizontal, or it definitely does not want to go down. So let's see about, oh, wrong way. Let's put this back the right way and let's see where this is going to land. On this one, the seam is back here, so I'm going to see if I can just make it fit so the seam's straight to the back instead of down. That way it's not going to be visible to us. Seems to slide right on. I need a light to see if it's starting to get dark on us. You might notice I'm kind of rushing. I'm trying to get this set and get this spot before it gets too dark to see in here. We got a couple of lanterns. Check out the lantern up there. We purchased those and they can be recharged with like a USB or USB-C cable. They're pretty good. Okay, so I'll have to grab a level, and then of course you can adjust these pipes and do some moving around. So now that I see this, we are currently, I know it's not in the right position, it's gonna have to angle up or get level to the point where it's angling up, but we're just about 1 inch and 5/8 away from the wall itself. I'm gonna lean that here, but I have a feeling that that's going to come together pretty nicely. We shall see. Let's check level on this. It took some doing, but we're nice and level this way. And we're nice and level this way. It's going straight to the wall. Not bad. We also have a rise here of about, let's see, let me get up here to the wall. Remember, this is 18 inches. We've probably got a good 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch rise, which is going to be sufficient. And we'll pop this back in here, see where we land. But bottom line is we're going to be able to go out somewhere in here. The question is, am I going to have enough clearance, or am I have to cut out some of this? I believe I'm going to do fine. By the time we get straight up here, we're going to be close to center, and I only have to come down, I think it's 14.5 inches, so 7 1/4 from the center. I believe we're going to be right above that. And then we're going to have to frame this, of course. Oh, don't mind the 2 liter. That's just a counterbalance so that we can hold that in place. All right, it's another day, and I just pulled the pipe off of the wall and off the top of this because I've got to put this gasket on underneath this. And I also just noticed I had this little deflector, these little 3 screws here, puts this heat deflector on. So the heat's not all going out toward the back, I suppose. I just wanted to show this so no one thought that you didn't need a gasket there. So yeah, we're gonna put a gasket underneath this thing, and then we're gonna put the screws through this, the bolts, and bolt this down. And then we will get that pipe back on and get going. Got the felt on here. Gonna pop it down in there. And it's got these little mounts, little things that you can put this bolt through here. There's little holes in here, and we'll just see if it basically tightens it down onto the actual body of the stove. Get that thing started. All right. Okay. That's what she looks like inside. That piece is locking it on to the stove itself. Okay, I thought I would catch you up. So I've spent probably 2 hours doing some figuring. And yeah, so it takes some thinking and some measuring and stuff to figure it out. I found my spot where it's going to go out the wall. Okay, so that's the dead center right there. So I'll be cutting a 14¼ inch circle in diameter around this center point here, which means I'm going to have to come into this about 1.5 inches or 2, something like that, whatever. I'll be building a frame around it, but that's to come. You're going to see that in a second. What I want to talk to you about is all of the important things I had to determine. So this is the wall thimble. We've already talked about it briefly, and I told you that I went from this 9-incher to this 12-incher DuraPlus piece because my wall itself, as you can see, the wall thickness is 8 inches. I'm gonna move that dirty rag out of your way. Okay, wall thickness is 8 inches. Now I forgot the 3/4 inch, so that left me 2 3/4. I had 10 3/4 inches available after I came to this, and I measured 2 inches away from this vertical pipe because you have to have 2 inches clearance outside on the outside of the wall. That mark right there is my 2 inches of clearance. From here to the end of this 12-inch pipe, that was my 10 3/4 inch measurement. I took the 8-inch wall off and left 2 3/4. Then I realized I'm gonna have at least a 3/4 wall board. I've got to figure out what I'm gonna be putting up here. That left me 2 inches. Then I put the pipe back up there, and I realized that I put a board up, a 3/4 inch board up there, and held it up as if it were the wall on the outside of my 6x6 posts. And what I found was that I had 1 11/16. Yeah, I put 1 3/4 minus a 16th. That's 1 11/16 inches from the distance from the edge of the DVL to the wall. So I realized that I had this 2 inches here, and then I determined that the DVL actually goes into the DuraPlus pipe all the way to this rib right here, which when you measure from this rib to the outer edge of this, that is 1/2 inch. So all of that being said, I think this is going to be very lovely, and we're going to be within about 1/4 inch. We shall see if that will work or not. But looks like the next thing I'm to do is to draw a circle, the 14 1/4 inch circle, cut it out, then build a 14 1/2 inch interdimensional wooden 2x6 frame in there. So I'll have something to screw all of this to, and then start running it through. As you can see, I've been here a while today. It's already rained on us once. It might rain again. So we're gonna cut the hole